Did you know that some research suggests that the second most common reason for mothers giving up breastfeeding in the first 2 months after birth is the worry about low milk supply and their babies not getting enough milk? So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of my tips for making enough milk. I'm Regina Kincaid. I'm an international board certified lactation consultant, online course creator of Breastfeeding Basics, a practical guide, and mum to 4 children ranging in age from 11 down to 2.5 years. I'm currently still breastfeeding my 2.5-year-old toddler, and I've breastfed for 7 years in total so far. My first tip, and you might have guessed this, is to take a breastfeeding preparation class while you're still pregnant, to learn about how mothers make milk, how babies breastfeed, and what to do if challenges arise. This could be in the form of a face-to-face class or an online course, or you might prefer to take part in an online live class, whatever suits you best. If you're interested in my 3-hour-long pre-recorded breastfeeding preparation class, Breastfeeding Basics, a practical guide, I will leave you the link in the description box below. And if you stick around till the end of the video, I have a free preventing low milk supply checklist that I will reveal the link to the download at the end of the video. Immediately after giving birth, if the medical circumstances allow for it, if you and your baby are well, offer your baby uninterrupted skin-to-skin contact until that first feed, until you've managed to latch your baby on or baby has self-attached. Not only will this regulate baby's heartbeat and temperature, it also has a very calming effect on you. And most importantly, it releases those very important bonding and milk making hormones, prolactin and oxytocin. And as milk production is predominantly hormonally steered in the first 6 to 8 weeks postpartum, I would encourage you to offer skin-to-skin contact throughout that whole postpartum period, and not to just limit it to the first feed after birth, as you really can set yourself up for making enough milk in the first 6 to 8 weeks, and you're setting up your milk production for the next 6 months to a year, or for however long you're planning to feed for. Skin contact is also great to deal with any latching issues, to allow your baby to familiarize themselves with your breast. On that note, I would really also like to encourage you to watch your baby rather than the clock, and to feed responsively rather than on a schedule. So to watch your baby for those early hunger cues, like waking, looking around, starting to turn their head towards one side to suck their fists or a blanket. And then to offer the breast rather than when they're already upset and crying, as crying is quite a late hunger cue. Although I just mentioned not to put your baby on a schedule, you would want to offer your breast at least 8 to 12 times in 24 hours to ensure baby is getting enough milk. And whilst once breastfeeding is established and you and your baby have kind of found your rhythm, some babies might only feed from one breast then, and that's fine, and they're thriving on just one side per feed. But generally speaking, in the early days, make sure you offer your both breasts per feeding. So let baby come to one side first, and then go through the sucking cycle of stimulation, and then as the milk starts to flow, you will want to observe a sucking pattern of 2 sucks to 1 swallow, or 1 suck to 1 swallow, and then typically they detach themselves and then offer the second side. Some babies in the early days, they can be a little bit sleepy at the breast, or they fall asleep quickly at the breast. Sometimes that's to do with the slow flow of the colostrum, the first milk that you're having, especially in the first 3 days. It's quite sticky and oily, and it's only there in small quantities, but the baby's stomach is very small, so it's just sufficient for their needs, and it's very nutrient dense as well. But sometimes babies can be a little bit sleepy in the first 3 days after birth, or even afterwards. So a great way to help babies along and to help the milk transfer is using breast compressions. So familiarize yourself with the technique of breast compressions. I will quickly talk you through it, what breast compressions are. So basically, if your baby's attached to the breast and they've fallen asleep and they're more flutter sucking, it's not a suck swallow active milk transfer, then what you can do is to increase the milk flow and to push a little bit of milk into their mouth is by making a C shape. If they're attached in the cradle or cross cradle hold, you can make a C shape with your thumb and forefingers and put it at the base of your breast, so not too close towards the nipple and areola area, as that might break the suction.
You go ahead and just at the base of the breast, as they pause, you will compress the breast and baby starts sucking again, because they'll get another delivery, another spray of milk, depending on your milk flow. Compress, hold till they're finished their sucking burst, and then when they pause, you release, give them a little break, and with their next sucking burst you start again, or if they don't start sucking by themselves, you also just compress, and you're hoping that this will get them sucking again. And that way you can work your way around the breast, hold it up so you can make the C shape as well, compress the breast. You don't want to compress too close to the areola or nipple, because that will pull the nipple out, or baby will slip off and lose the latch. So you want to go to the base of the breast, compress, and they will start drinking.
If after breast compressions your baby has then fallen asleep on one side, then go and offer the other side, because it's more likely that the milk flow will be faster on the other side. Similarly to breast compressions, another great tool to have in your breastfeeding toolbox is knowing how to hand express your breast milk. Hand expressing is such a useful tool to help with a lot of breastfeeding challenges. In the early days, if your baby is sleepy and not effectively attaching to the breast yet, if you know how to hand express, you can actually express the colostrum and later on your breast milk and feed it to your baby. If you develop a blocked duct during your breastfeeding journey, you can solve the blocked duct through hand expression as well. You can also tempt a baby at the breast by simply expressing a few drops of milk before the latch on. And especially if you're feeling a bit engorged once your milk comes in around day 3 or day 4, hand expressing can help to soften your breast and then make latch on easier. And also you can, if your breast still feels full after the baby has had a full feed, then you can soften your breasts through hand expressing, and you can collect that milk and store it after a breastfeed. And that way you will ensure that your breasts are soft and drained and feel empty after feeds, as empty breasts and soft breasts, they will make more milk, whereas full breasts that are left full very long decrease the milk production. Of course, your baby's latch is crucial to your breastfeeding success, so do learn a lot about effective latch on and what the signs of a good and effective, the external signs of a good and effective latch are, and obviously it should be comfortable for you as well. Then I would also encourage you to offer your breasts in different breastfeeding positions. So learn about the rugby hold, the cradle hold, the cross cradle hold, the koala hold, the side lying hold, especially for nighttime feeding. And that way you ensure that your breasts not only is emptied from all around, but also stimulated, that all areas of the breast are stimulated for milk production, and also it will support the breast drainage as well. And as we just mentioned, the more your breasts are being emptied, the more milk you're going to make. Keep an eye on your baby's wet and dirty nappies. Once your milk is in, your baby should have at least 6 to 8 wet nappies and at least 3 yellow seedy breast milk stools. And in all of this, don't forget yourself and mind yourself. Stay well hydrated and eat an extra of 500 calories, as breastfeeding takes up an extra of 500 calories. So don't follow any restrictive diets while you're breastfeeding. In fact, in the early days of breastfeeding, your mammary glands take up more energy than your brain. So do make sure to look after yourself and rest and recover after birth as well. So these are my main tips for making enough milk. I've summarized them on my Preventing Low Milk Supply checklist. I'm sure there can always be more added onto the list, but if you're interested in downloading the checklist, it's available for free on my website, and I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. Give this video a like if you feel these tips can help you on your breastfeeding journey. Subscribe to my channel, and otherwise, until next time, hope your breastfeeding journey is going